Is there an EV bubble happening right now? What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. I got the hoodie to prove it. And today we're going to be speaking about electric vehicles. And you know, the question that's on everybody's minds, is there a bubble forming? Also, this ugly wall behind me is getting painted today, a couple of hours after recording this video. Electric vehicles have been at the forefront of everything on YouTube as of late. I mean, from Tesla to Workhorse, we have Hyliion, we have Nikola, we have loads of different companies. And it's clear to see why. I mean, the hype surrounding these companies has led to some absolutely insane run-ups in value. Today we're going to be having a look at 5 companies in particular and then the overall electric vehicle market and whether this run-up is justified. We're going to be having a look at, obviously, Tesla, you know, the biggest bad boy in the game. We're going to be having a look at Nio, we're going to be having a look at Hyliion, we're going to look at Workhorse, and we're going to look at Nikola. I myself personally am invested in 3 of these companies. I'm in Tesla, I'm in Workhorse with a decent position, and I have a very small position in Hyliion, ticker symbol SHLL right now. So you know, I am trying to keep up to date with everything that's going on in the world of EV. As of late, this is becoming more and more of a pressing issue. People are wondering, are these companies overvalued? I mean, when we look at some of the PE ratios, some of the price to sales ratios later on in this video, you'll see that the spike has been pretty crazy in a few of these well-established companies. So it's really hard to kind of decipher these companies at times and figure out, is it worth buying? And that's what we're going to try and figure out today. So right before we get into the video, can I please ask you to smash a like? You guys have been destroying that like button lately. I appreciate you all so much. Let's see if we can get 200 likes in 2 hours. Drop me a comment down below. I'm very interested in hearing if you're in any of these companies or any other EV companies and what your reasoning behind that is. And lastly, if you're new around here, please hit that juicy red button. Join the family. I mean, we're growing so quickly. I appreciate you all so much. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. So we're going to start it off by just having a look at each of these 5 companies relatively quickly, okay? We'll start it off with Nikola, and we'll go back to when this run up decided. And they went up a total of over 561% from the 22nd of April to the 9th of June. Now, since those highs, they have proceeded to come back down over 38%. And if you look over here at the after hours, they are about to drop another 14.5% potentially. So for Nikola, it's been an extremely bumpy ride. Now, I haven't liked Nikola from the start. I haven't believed in them from the start. There just seems to be so many better options out there. I mean, I have no interest in this company at all. Market cap 17.63 billion. PE ratio of 805. And that is after what is going to be more than a 40% decrease. So yeah, from the start, I don't like Nikola at all. But it's important to keep this in mind, the massive run up and the massive dip. Because remember, today we're trying to decipher whether or not there is some sort of a bubble in the EV market. Okay, second up we have Nio. And these guys have had an incredible run, okay? From somewhat lows up to the recent highs, 524% from the 3rd of April to the 10th of July. And again, since those highs, a lot of value has been taken away, okay? Down over 25%. There was a 14% drop on Friday alone. Now, Nio's a weird one to me, okay? I've made a video on these guys in the past. I personally don't believe they're a good investment, but I can understand it, okay? There is a case to be made. They're doing a few things differently. They're building this really nice brand in China. I can't see how you could make a case for this company, but they're not for me. And again, 25% of value gone in the space of a week. Okay, Hyliion, okay? These guys went on, you know, your standard SPAC run up, 211% in a matter of only a couple of weeks pretty much, not even. From there, it's been a downward ride and they're currently down very close to 30%. And again, this only takes a few weeks to see this big of a loss. Now, this is one that is really tough to put a valuation on. They're not even publicly traded. They're still trading under the SPAC Tortoise Acquisition Corp. So who knows what's going to happen if the acquisition goes through. I personally do like Hyliion and I believe in them and I thought they were worth a gamble. I didn't think they were worth a big position, but I was willing to open up a small position. I mean, again, I have videos on Hyliion speaking about all of the good points. I do believe in them. I think they offer a service that, you know, not a lot of people are competing with right now, but still, look at that. I mean, that dip of nearly 30%. Now, Workhorse, a company I am bullish on. I really love the look of. I am investing in these. This is the biggest investment I have in a relatively speculative play right now. I'm at pretty much break even. So again, right, quick run up over 695%. It was absolutely insane. And just like everybody else, since then, down nearly 30% in a span of a couple of weeks. So we're starting to see this team, okay? Every single EV company out there got pumped up massively, and now it looks like, you know, there's some sort of a dump happening. That's why with these EV companies, it is so important to do your due diligence and understand the risks, the individual risks associated with each company, because they all carry their own risks undoubtedly. And Workhorse is no different. I am a massive bull on them. Okay, I really am. If they get this USPS contract, I don't even know what price they're going to go to, but it is going to be absolutely insane. But if they don't, in the short term, they could drop more than 50%. But the thing is, I still love the long-term outlook of Workhorse. Okay, and then obviously we have Tesla stock, the company I made a full video on earlier on today, my first video of today. So from the recent March lows up to the highs, over 300%, okay? And that's pretty much where they still are. I mean, from the very highs, they're down about 2.84%. This isn't accurate because you may be aware on this day here, they briefly went up over $1,700. So they went up 14% in a day before closing down 3%. But on a daily basis, they're only down a few percent. And I said this in my video early, Tesla is a lot more than just an EV stock. So maybe they shouldn't even be in this video, but that's what people think of. But clear to see, Tesla have significantly outperformed, and they're the biggest company. I mean, it's easy to go up 300-400% off the back of some hype and good news. If you're a $10 company, it's hard to do that when you were a $350 plus company. So is there a bubble forming, or was one already formed? I mean, most of these companies have gone down over 30% in the span of 2 weeks. Keep in mind, if there is a bubble forming, it's going to be a lot worse than a 30% drop. And if there is a real bubble after being popped, we're all going to lose a lot of money. It's inevitable. That's what happens. If you're somebody who bought recently, you know, you're not up 100, 200, 300%. You're going to lose a lot of money if there is a bubble. And that's just the truth of it. If I can bring you back to the dot-com bubble, where a lot of companies lost 70 to 80+% of their value and didn't recover for literally, you know, years and years. It's not fast, it's not aggressive, it happens over time, and it is terrible. So let's try and figure out if this run-up has been justified. This website right here, IEA.org, a fantastic place for getting information in regards to electric vehicle statistics. And right now we're looking at the global EV outlook for 2020. So the first thing here, okay, global electric car stock 2010 to 2019. And we can see that the growth has been exponential, and very exponential at that. I mean, 2019, world battery electric vehicles up to 4.79 million. 2010, we had 0.02 million. So only about 17,000 electric cars were on the world's road in 2010. So very small market. I mean, a brand new market, to say the least. By 2019, that number had swelled to 7.2 million. So massive increase in such a short period of time. Another chart that shows just how much of the market is in China. And then US is always a very close second. Well, I say very close, it's not really. China is the biggest market by far for electric vehicles. But this could actually be a good thing for the likes of American EV companies like Tesla or Workhorse or any of the likes, because, you know, there is more of a market. You know, it's not as big yet, but it is still growing very quickly. And I know this isn't the best chart in the whole world, but the best selling plug-in car is Q1 2020. Tesla Model 3 won by a long shot. So I know electric vehicles have been growing at an absolutely astounding rate, but charts like this make me feel like it may well be justified. Not to mention that in the world of stock trading in particular, these companies are getting so much hype behind them right now. I mean, everybody's speaking about them. It's what I get asked about more than anything else. I mean, I remember when everybody was hyped over airline stocks, cruise lines, nothing even came close to the hype that is behind these EV companies right now. So the amount of global plug-in vehicles delivered in 2019 was 9% higher than for 2018. The global electric vehicle market is expected to grow from this to this by the end of 25 at a compound annual growth rate of 16.10%. I believe up until 2024 it's closer to 18%. But that is some very fast growth, especially when we look at headlines like this, when California makes zero emission trucks and vans mandatory by 2045. Now I know this is trucks and vans, not just cars, but it is a step in the direction of an EV future, without a doubt. I spoke about this in depth before in regards to Workhorse and how this could be a reason that Workhorse gets part of the USPS contract going forwards, because why would USPS build a new fleet of either hybrid or not at all completely electric vehicles that have emissions just to have to redo it again in the future? But logically thinking, and all of the signs point towards a world where EV takes over your standard gas vehicle. By 2022, there will be over 500 different EV models available globally. Consumer choice and competitive pricing will be be key to attracting new buyers to the market, and that's very true. If you want to go out and buy an EV car right now, there are literally thousands and thousands of models to choose from, different brands, etc. If you want to get involved in EV, there's nowhere near as many. Passenger EV sales jumped from 450,000 in 2015 to 2.1 million in 2019, and they're expected to be as high as 8.5 million by 2025. Can we really call it a bubble if it's justified? Can we really call it a bubble if we expect this rate of growth to continue going forwards? 2030, 26 million, and 2040, 54 million expected to be on the roads. I mean, it is clearly a very quickly growing market. So EV share of new car sales in 2020 was 2.7%. When we see what it was back in 2010, 11, 12, this is fantastic, and by 2025 that could potentially be 10% of all sales. And I honestly would be in no way surprised if this number ended up being considerably higher. Size of global EV fleet: 2020, 8.5 million, 2030, 116 million. Personally, in regards to EV as an industry as a whole, say for example you were investing in a fund that was every single electric vehicle company with certain requirements, I don't think it would be particularly overvalued right now. Now, there are a lot of companies that I do think are overvalued because they've been pushed up by hype, because everybody wants to buy anything that has absolutely the smallest thing to do with electric vehicles. What I would really like to say now is that not every EV company is a Tesla, because Tesla is much more than just an EV company. And aside from that, they are the most technologically advanced by an absolute mile. I'm speaking years and years ahead of any of the competition. These kind of companies aren't for everybody, not whatsoever. Look, literally every single EV company, you will not find one that is not high risk, that doesn't carry a substantial amount of risk. A lot of them are very new companies. The majority of them are not profitable. It's hard to value these in traditional ways. That is why there is so much speculation to do with these companies in nature. There really is. Even somebody like Tesla, there's so much speculation involved. Even the biggest bulls in the world, ARK Invest, who have a $22,000 potential price target on Tesla, could see a scenario, less than 1% so be it, where Tesla goes bankrupt and all of your shares become worthless. That goes for any of these EV companies. If you get into the next big one, it's going to be absolutely incredible. But for each of the next big ones, there's going to be an awful lot who fail, and there's going to be an awful lot who don't really do much, so keep that in mind. A lot of people think that right now in particular, EV stocks are very, very overpriced, overvalued. If we look at Tesla's PS ratio, Tesla's price to sales ratio, right now it's at 10.57, which traditionally is very high. Back in 2012, it was double that. It was 20, it was 21. Now, for the majority of the time, it has actually been coming down as time's gone on, and it's been as low as in the 1s to 2s, which is very reasonable. That's about where you expect it to be. It has shot up to a massive 10.5, and there's no doubt in it. This is a very big PS ratio. In 2012, these cost $20 to $30 a share. I mean, as of right now, you'd literally be up over 4,000%. So it is an important metric. It's one that we do like to look at every now and again, but you know what, just because it's up higher than normal doesn't necessarily mean it's not due it. Nikola's PS ratio doesn't exist, they don't have physical products. Here's Nio's, okay, and traditionally it's been normal and it has gone up very similarly to Tesla to a 10.63, so very similar PS ratio with Nio. Workhorse, we can't really look at it. It's at 12,414. And this is where the speculation comes into it, people. We're trying to get into these companies before they are really profitable, before they are, the next in line for Tesla. But I'm not here to make a case for any individual company today. The same that goes for Workhorse goes for Hyliion. Look, people, at the end of the day, invest in these companies at your own risk. I like to remind people every now and again, I'm 22 years old, okay? I can afford to take some risk. In my eyes, every single EV company right now, including Tesla, is high risk. I mean, Tesla is literally at all-time highs. Most of these companies have gone up 300 or 400% in the span of less than a month, people. That is not normal. Do I think there's a bubble? No, I don't whatsoever. I think going through all the graphs that we had a look at today, the trends that we can expect to happen over the next few decades, I think it's justified. And I think EV stocks, in my opinion, the good ones at least, the good ones will continue to go up. In any sector, there is good companies and there is bad companies. Whether it's, utilities, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, there's always the good companies and the bad companies. You can't just blindly invest in every EV company that comes to existence. Yeah, in the short term, you might make a lot of money. Like with Nikola, you could have made over 500% in a matter of a few weeks, a month. But how many people sold? How many people sold that? How many people bought at the bottom and sold at the top? Very, very few. You could count them on your hands because nobody knew where this top was. And I bet that a lot of people who did get in at a good price point, maybe they got in here, okay? They still didn't sell out. And now they're holding. And they're still up 100%, but it's downtrending. Just please do your due diligence with any EV company because they are so hyped up, people. I don't want anybody losing money investing in companies that they don't understand. Really guys, I just wanted to make this video to give the other side of the story because I know I come off as a massive bull on EV companies right now, particularly with Tesla and Workhorse, and I don't want people blindly investing. I never do. That's why I make such a big point of telling people I'm not a financial advisor. I literally have hoodies coming out that say that on them. I really don't want people to lose money if I do. The stock market doesn't care about what makes sense. The stock market doesn't care about you at all. It doesn't care if you lose or make money. Always remember that. Your feelings mean nothing to the stock market. So please only invest in companies you are completely and utterly confident in and willing to take a risk in, because even the safest companies in the world carry an awful lot of risk. But anyway guys, I do hope that you enjoyed today's video. I hope you were able to take some sort of value from it. And I also hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for tomorrow's video. Peace.